Welcome to Behind the Data with me, Emma Trevor. There's not much to report from the past 4 weeks in energy markets, as things have been relatively quiet. So I'd like instead to take this opportunity to look back at the top 5 energy price drivers of 2025 and then explore what to keep an eye on as we enter the new year. The top 5 influences of energy prices this year have been geopolitics, global trade, weather, EU gas storage, and liquefied natural gas, also known as LNG. Geopolitics in particular has been a key price driver, with global conflicts and policy changes impacting markets. In June this year, Israel launched an attack on Iranian nuclear and military sites, starting a war which lasted 12 days. Energy prices climbed, and Iran's parliament approved a motion to close the Strait of Hormuz, a vital shipping channel for Qatari LNG. This created a significant risk of supply disruption from the world's second largest exporter of the fuel. When the conflict came to an end, prices fell as quickly as they had risen, with risk removed from markets. Another key conflict that has directly impacted energy markets this year is the ongoing war in Ukraine. In January, Russian gas flows through Ukraine came to an end, providing upward support for prices, which reached a 2-year high in early February. The Russia-Ukraine conflict has also exerted downward pressure on prices throughout 2025 at times when world leaders work to make progress on a peace deal. In August, President Putin travelled to the US to engage in talks with President Trump. With momentum towards a ceasefire seemingly building, prices fell to a 3-month low, as you can see on screen here. At present, talks are still ongoing to agree a lasting peace deal for the region. In an effort to defund Russia in its offensive against Ukraine, the EU has also implemented a number of policy changes this year. In May, the Commission presented Repower EU, a legislative proposal to gradually phase out Russian gas supply from the bloc by the end of 2027. This was ratified earlier this month, with the EU agreeing to permanently end imports of Russian gas by November 2027 at the latest. In October, the EU also announced its 19th package of sanctions against Russia, which included a requirement to shorten the timeframe of ending imports of Russian LNG by the end of 2026, a full year earlier than initially planned. Each of these policies increase security of supply risks for Europe, with the continent needing to find an alternative source for the 18% of its gas which is still currently supplied by Russia. As a result, prices moved up. Our second key driver for 2025 is global trade. In April, President Trump implemented sweeping import tariffs on countries which were thought to have a trade deficit with the US. This initiated elevated trade tensions across the world, with rising costs leading to a decrease in expected industrial energy demand. Energy prices fell as a result, as forecasts for demand for power and gas commodities declined, and as seen on screen here. Our third driver of the year is weather. Unseasonally warm temperatures this summer led to increased demand for cooling and lifted prices as a result. The warm weather also raised river temperatures, which resulted in a reduction of output from French nuclear facilities as the cooling process for the reactors became less efficient. The start of winter 2025 has also been milder than normal, easing demand for heating and exerting downward pressure on prices. Wind generation has played a key role in price movements this year. The start of 2025 saw low wind speeds, and renewable generation fell short of seasonal norms as a result. This pushed near-term prices up, and the country relied on gas to meet power demand. We have since seen some periods of strong wind generation, though, particularly towards the end of the year. As you can see on screen here, day-ahead prices fell as low as 42 pence in October, as the UK's power mix was predominantly renewable sources. Our fourth driver of prices is European gas storage levels. In Q1 in 2025, the cold winter of 2024 persisted, and gas was withdrawn from storage at a rapid rate. This led stock levels to drop to their lowest point since 2022, which then elevated gas demand over the summer months to restock storage sites ahead of the upcoming winter. We therefore saw an associated increase in prices. Our fifth and final driver for 2025 is LNG. Despite risks to supply from external factors such as the Iran-Israel war, LNG supply has been strong, with European send-out exceeding the previous year since February. This strong supply was underpinned by an increase in production from the US, which exported a record volume of 10 million metric tons in October. This record was then topped in November, as you can see on screen here, when the US exported 10.9 million metric tons. And finally, looking forwards. A key driver to keep an eye on in 2026 will be the weather conditions, not just in the UK, but across all regions. While the start of this winter has been largely mild, some forecasts suggest we could see temperatures fall below seasonal norms at the start of the year, elevating demand for heating and increasing competition on the global LNG market as regions look to meet this rising demand. Thank you for listening, and I hope you found this update useful.